A leader says to human resources, I have an opening and I need to fill it, but we've got to get it done immediately. The recruiter says, here are all the candidates you asked for. And the candidate says, tell me more about this role and what the interview process will look like. Human resources are hiring manager to the candidate. There's silence. And then, do you have 30 minutes available on Tuesday at 10 a.m. for an interview? Why was the candidate's question so difficult to answer? Because somewhere between urgency and action, alignment often begins breaking down. And when that happens, organizations can find themselves moving candidates through a process before they've fully aligned on the role, the expectations, or what success actually looks like. I'm Laurie Karras, and this is the Alignment Gap Built for Performance, executive briefings for leaders responsible for results. This episode is Misalignment Shows Up in Hiring. When was the last time you found yourself in that situation? A candidate comes in for an interview with HR and the hiring manager. The conversation goes well. So they interview again with another leader and again with another group of people. This time it's a presentation and again with a senior leader. 5 interviews later, perhaps even more, everyone is still searching for certainty because one stakeholder is evaluating for one thing, another stakeholder is evaluating for something else, and someone else is looking for something entirely different. Meanwhile, the candidate is trying to answer a much simpler question. What exactly is this role beyond the job description? Who am I going to work with? How will success be measured? How does this position contribute to the organization's larger goals? And when every conversation produces a different answer, the candidate learns something important. Not about the role, rather, it's about the organization. Because while the organization believes it's conducting a thorough interview process, the candidate may be witnessing misalignment in real time around expectations, around ownership, around success. Organizations often mistake prolonged hiring processes for thoroughness. When organizations lack internal clarity, the hiring process exposes it to candidates externally. Yet the process continues. And perhaps this is the hardest part. Organizations rarely verbally express this as misalignment. They discuss it as diligence, more interviews, more stakeholders, more presentations, more process. Yet the underlying question often remains unanswered. So it's worth asking, what truth might your hiring process be revealing? And what consequence are being created because of it? The truth may be that the organization has not fully aligned around the role. The consequence is a fragmented hiring process. The truth may be that the job description itself is outdated or misaligned with the actual needs of the role in the business. The consequence is a candidate pool shaped by the wrong criteria, leading to good enough hires instead of the right ones. The truth may be that stakeholders are evaluating candidates against different priorities, and the consequence is prolonged decision making and inconsistent expectations. The truth may be that the organization is still defining the problem it's trying to solve. The consequence is that candidates become part of the discovery process rather than the selection process. And somewhere along the way, organizations begin mistaking process for progress. 5 interviews become 6, more stakeholders become involved, additional conversations are scheduled, yet more activity does not necessarily create more alignment. The result? Cleanup in interview aisle 9. At the end of the day, performance doesn't happen by accident. It's built through clarity, alignment, and disciplined execution. Thanks for listening to the Alignment Gap Built for Performance. I'm Laurie Karras. See you next time.